What is up, Wolfpack Nation? We are back live. I've been back. I've been gone for a little while, so I'm pumped for this. But we've got another live stream show tonight for you guys. It is game week. It's all I gotta say. But a lot of awesome things going on in Wolfpack Nation. We got Greg, we got Michael. Really looking forward to talking a lot of stuff tonight for you guys. But first, we have a major decision that needs to be reached here tonight. Major decision. I think if you guys are not sitting down, you might need to sit down for this one. Okay? Game changing. We have Greg the Leg Haas. He is in his house. He has got 3 hats in front of him. He is about to make his commitment.
No. I may be making the announcement, but I make the announcement for the entire team. Like, this is a Tuffy Talk.
That's true.
This is a Tuffy Talk decision.
I was just taking it that way. This is a Tuffy Talk commitment. That's a very good point, Greg. But Greg's just doing it for the sake of the show.
Look, after much deliberation, talking to my friends and family, come down to it. Come down to this choice. It wasn't easy. I want to thank everybody that was involved in our recruitment. I know this was a long process for us. No, it wasn't. This is an easy one. Who am I going to take? This one right here. Happy to announce that we at Tuffy Talk are partnering with Oconee Barbecue Sauces and Rubs. Look at right here. We've got the shirt. We've got the hats. We've got the merch. Like, let's go, boys. Let's go.
I know. I feel like I got this whole thing right here. We Oconee Gold and basically a bunch of really good barbecue sauces, guys. We are pumped about that. Greg is a big tailgater, as the word may or may not have gotten out already about it. But yeah, Greg, I can imagine we're going to see some of this barbecue sauce at your tailgates this fall.
I don't think you can imagine it. It's going to happen, my friend. It's going to happen.
Yeah, let me get this. Let me get my own hoodie on, man. This is going to take a minute here. I should have had this on earlier, but I didn't want to give it away. So give me a second.
Yeah. We're super excited. I will be also, if you follow the channel and you follow Savage Wolves, I will be partnering with Savage Wolves this year to do tailgating. Super excited about that. But if you come by, we will be serving some of this fine barbecue sauce. I can see this going on some wings next week against Tennessee. I am definitely going to be using this white gold on my chicken wings. So that is going to happen. And then we got this Carolina red. I think that'll go good with the pulled pork.
Favorite.
Yeah, it's really good. And then my personal favorite, because I like it, muy caliente jalapeno. So
yeah. I'm a Carolina guy. This is Georgia barbecue sauce what we're talking about. So they got options from all over though. Yeah, all over. Out of Statham, Georgia.
James is running a fine company down there. His daughter goes to NC State, so anytime we can support someone that supports NC State, you know what? We're gonna do it. They got this rub too, man. I mean, I'm excited about the rub.
Yeah, I see that. The gold dust, is that what it's called?
Yeah, gold dust. So
yeah, I'm looking at that. That's really, really good options. We're gonna have to have a spread, I think. I might have to do that at home too to get some good cooking just on the on the grill. And I don't have the Blackstone, but I got like the Sam's Club version of a Blackstone, so we can do something on there. And but yeah, guys, big commitment for NC State and really for Tuffy Talk, that's all I gotta say. So Oconee Gold. So we're going to be sporting this gear, this episode. You're going to be seeing a lot more of that moving forward. But make sure you guys go out and get some.
Hold up. We're already giving stuff away. Like, we got we have free tickets to Thursday night sold out game. If you go out on the website on Oconee's site, and we'll make sure that all everything is. In fact, I think Leighton is hanging out behind scenes tonight. So Leighton, if you're on, just throw up the URL so the fine folks can go purchase it. There we go, right on cue, my friend. And look, if you
was sitting there ready to hit enter.
Dude, he was like, just say it already. Yeah. If you go out and make a purchase, of course, we got you hooked up double, right? So not only can you potentially get free tickets to Thursday night's game, you can use the code. I believe it's Tuffy20. Do I have that right? Is that?
It's just Tuffy Talk.
Tuffy Talk. Excuse me, 15%. Sorry, I'm screwing this up. This is why we need Leighton on tonight. So we're not giving this stuff away, but you're gonna get 15% off. So go out there and follow.
We're giving the tickets away.
Yeah, we're giving tickets away. So
yeah, who doesn't like trying new flavors of barbecue sauce? I mean, come on,
it's a win-win.
Dry rubs, yeah,
it's a win-win.
I know, and they got sauce for everything.
Yeah, I wonder if you
it's not just one type.
I know you could probably do the dry rub, that gold dust, but I wonder if you could smoke some of that stuff. Yeah.
Well,
definitely dry rub.
Well, the point is, all right. Do I need to give you a lesson real quick? So
I think so.
You use the rub, all right. So you put the rub on, throw it in the smoker, and then you finish it with the sauce. So usually the last 15, 30 minutes, you pull it off, you sauce it, and then you want that sauce to tack onto your meat, and you're ready to rock and roll with some fine products.
Yeah. I'm excited about this, guys. I'm pretty pumped to try out some new sauces. That's all I got to say about that. But
right on time for tailgate season.
So it'll be awesome. I mean, can you believe it, guys? It's game week.
I know.
What? What is it?
Game week, man.
Let's go.
Yeah. So week 0 already crazy, right? I mean, I don't know. I would be talking about that a little bit, but just man, it's just this is exciting. I was talking to my dad last week. He didn't even realize football's on TV, and he's like, "Are you serious?" It's like it feels like a national holiday, and I'm like, "It should be a national holiday."
Absolutely.
But and it's gonna be a lot better with Oconee sauces and all those kinds of things. But so NC State's got a Thursday night game at 7:00 in Carter Finley. Greg, should we expect you to be at the game, Greg?
Game number 29 in a row.
Yes, Greg will be in the house.
And good news, my Korea trip just got canceled, so I'm going to be at the Georgia Tech game, so the streak will live on.
That's what I'm talking about. Greg probably knew a guy.
Did I called in? It's like, hey, we're going to need to throw a nuclear strike at South Korea. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, Michael, you gonna be at any games this year?
Oh, I'm trying to figure out some. I'm thinking we might make the trip to Clemson this year.
Oh man, nice. Yeah, I
didn't go.
Go ahead.
Didn't go 2 years ago when that was a big game. We were all hoping to win that one.
Yeah, that was pretty fun.
You guys went right now.
Yeah, I think maybe it's a good segue because honestly, now that game has even more importance to it because week 0. I don't know if anybody saw it. Honestly, I wasn't totally surprised by it, but some people were, I guess.
We said, I think 2 weeks ago, I wasn't on last week, but 2 weeks ago we were talking about this game. I said, watch out for Georgia Tech. I think they got a shot here against Florida State.
Yep. So for those who didn't see it, I'm just going to recap it for you. So the score, week 0, ACC matchup, Georgia Tech versus Florida State in Ireland. I don't know if for those who did see it, that was beautiful. When it got towards the end of the game. Yeah. But really back and forth the whole time, I thought, and I was really impressed with what Georgia Tech did. Surprised at how Florida State was allowed themselves. I mean, to get moved around like they were, I think
on
I was
defense.
More impressed.
On defense,
yes. I think I was more impressed with Georgia Tech. Not that they did, like they ran the ball really well. I thought they had that guy Rutherford, small receiver. A lot of little screen passes that they took for 20, 30, 40 yards, I thought. Fast dude, Rutherford, for them. Pretty sure that was his name. But then it came down 21-21. Georgia Tech to the lead, take it 21-14. Florida State got a touchdown, and it came down to a last-second field goal. And I think it was like a 44, 46-yard field goal. And the guy for Georgia Tech kicked it in, and game over.
Yeah, no, I mean we're jumping right to the end, but that play. So the second to last play, it was bad snap, and they lost like 15 yards, and then like you said, they just threw a little screen pass to that Rutherford guy. He got him 15 more yards back in, made it kind of not an easy field goal, but makeable. 40. Yeah. What did we say? 44, 45 yards instead 45, of that would have been. That would have been a 60-yarder, or they would have just had to throw it to the end zone. If they didn't make that.
Yeah. So spoiler alert, we're going to have some episodes with Eric McLean from ACC Network. And he and I can't remember if this actually made it on air or if we were just talking after the podcast recording. But I asked him, I said, what happens when Georgia Tech wins on Saturday? What does that do for the national perspective of the conference?
Not good, probably.
And he just laughed. And then I texted him while he was on air. And then one of the commercial breaks, he was just like, not good. Because I told him, I said, man, it sucks that EJ Manuel had to go all the way across the ocean to see his boys lose a game. Yeah. And he was just like, man, you're wrong for that. So, look, we kind of talk about it. Like week 0, you don't know what you're going to get in your squad. All right. And who knows that Georgia Tech loss may not look so bad at the end of the season, if that's the only loss they have. Now, if Georgia Tech goes, 6-6 or, 5-7, that's definitely a bad loss. But, you just don't know what you're going to get. You've been hitting on each other for, a month and a half. And, DJU didn't play bad, but he didn't elevate his team. He's not going to he's going to go out and manage the game, not do anything too stupid, but he's just not going to beat you with his arm. So, and Georgia Tech just was like, okay, we're going to crowd the box. They didn't run for a whole lot. I think Florida State had just under 300 yards total offense, which whatever.
Yeah, I'm trying to pull the stats now.
The yards were pretty even. But it was a weird game with rain. It was just it was everything you would expect for a week 0 game.
14 possessions between both teams, which is crazy low.
Yeah.
To me, the difference in this game was rushing yards. Florida State was held to under 100 rushing yards, 98. Yep. Georgia Tech 190.
190.
There was Florida State passed the ball a little bit more too, so just keep that in mind.
But Georgia Tech's bread and butter. So here's the thing, if you watch the game, you saw the stat where Hayes King led the ACC in touchdown passes, but he also led the league in interceptions. And so if you're not forcing him to make forced throws and make bad decisions, you're going to be in the game. To your point, Michael, you said there was 14 possessions. That's because Georgia Tech had 2 or 3 possessions of like 7+ minutes, 8 minutes drives. They knew what they had to do to beat Florida State, and they executed their game plan to perfection.
And like you said, DJU wasn't bad. They just I don't know. They didn't
trust him to make downfield throws.
His longest pass of the day. Sorry, I want to give you a point there. His longest play of the day, 21 yards.
Yeah, but that was like an 8-yard pass with like a 14-yard run.
Probably.
I remember.
But when they were down 21-14 and they needed to go score quickly, they let him throw it, and he led him down the field and scored. So I don't think they really let him throw it as much as they should have. Obviously,
I didn't agree. I don't know if they just maybe they thought it was going to be an easy win and they just didn't really feel like they needed to. But I don't know. I
don't know.
They didn't let him try it out. So
I think obviously there's only been one game to talk about, so everybody's talking about this one. But it's like, was it DJU? Was it the receivers? I mean, they didn't have any receivers in that game who looked anything like they had last year in what's his face, Keon Coleman and Johnny Wilson. Like those 2 guys were studs, and there really wasn't anybody that stood out. And again, was that because the receivers aren't as good, or did they not trust DJ to throw the ball?
Well, here's the other thing too. Florida State was supposed to have a great defensive line, and they got shredded for 190 yards. Their linebackers weren't that good. You made an interesting point. I don't know if it was in the Discord or if it was on Twitter, Michael, about their linebacker who was committed to State and then decommitted. Was it Riley or?
Yeah. I think he ended up starting for him. And
he had 7 tackles.
Cam Riley.
Yeah.
But there were some clips on Twitter, not necessarily Cam Riley, but their linebackers in general, they were just turned around, no idea where the ball was. Yeah. Which, that's not good.
I mean, to me, they weren't ready. They were not prepared for that matchup, and maybe they just thought they could walk in and do that. And maybe that's kind of like coming off a high of a 13-0 season, which it'll be interesting to see how Florida State does this year, because I wonder if the narrative could become, was it a fluky season for Florida State? We'll see. Because remember, Norvell was on the hot seat going in that season. So, But, I thought, kind of going back to what you said, Georgia Tech winning, I would say that's a positive for NC State, right?
Absolutely.
Because they don't have to play.
It opens wide. State. It opens up the conference completely.
Right.
Did you see the tweet that was out there with the loss to Florida State, if State were to beat Georgia Tech, then they would hold a tiebreaker over Florida State. And so
Georgia Tech.
Yeah. Same with Virginia Tech as well, because that's the common opponent. So if you're looking at the potential top 6, that could be a big factor at the end of the season. Just win.
Yeah. You want. So I think it was Brad Crawford who's. You want, especially in this expanded ACC where you don't play everybody now. I mean, you didn't play everybody before, but it was a lot more likely. But you want the teams that you play to beat the teams that you don't play, because then if you beat those teams, you have the tiebreaker over both of them.
Right. All right. Well, I think we can move on from that. But yeah,
I mean, I do want to touch on this a little bit more, because I know you did say a little bit, but Florida State losing national perception of the ACC.
Yeah.
I mean, should NC State care? Like, that's what I kind of think about it. Like, relative to what it means for NC State this season, should they care?
I don't think so, because
just winning you're in.
Right. If we beat Tennessee, that's all we need for our national perception. And then if we don't beat Tennessee, then this Georgia Tech win over Florida State makes our ACC path easier. So
I think too, it's a ACC game, which really shouldn't matter from a national perspective. It's more of a an internal thing. It's when I think, to me, it's what you do against out of conference opponents. Like, had SMU lost that game on Saturday,
that would have been bad.
That would have been bad. That would have been
still bad because they look terrible, but
But if you look, I mean, Texas Tech fans were all over SMU, and they lost to Nevada last year. Kansas, played a close game to them. So, I mean, they did go on the road. It is week 0. That's a game, though. That's a group of 5 team that you should go handle, especially if you're, having aspirations of winning an ACC title. But I think if, Georgia goes out and beats Clemson, or Tennessee beats us, then you're back to that narrative. But if the tables are turned, I think you have a rightful case to say, hey, this is a competitive league. And again, let's see what Georgia Tech does this year. If they go out and win 8-9 ball games, then that's fine. If Florida State wins 8-9 ball games, okay. But if either team stinks it up, okay.
I think go ahead, Michael.
So there's 3 pretty big non-conference games for the ACC: Clemson, Georgia, NC State, Tennessee, and Miami, Florida.
You can say Florida State, Florida too.
Yeah, but it's sorry, I was just saying, to start the season.
Gotcha.
I think that's all I can think of off the top of my head. I'm sure there may be a couple more, but those are the 3 big ones: ACC, SEC games. ACC really needs to win 2 out of 3 of those if we're talking ACC perception.
And I think to the point too, like, you need to go beat Notre Dame a couple times from an ACC team. Like, again, I think that matters, even though they're kind of quasi ACC. But
I don't know. I think it's it's pretty interesting to me. I don't think really State fans should care, because all they should care about is State winning this season, and the fact that Georgia Tech won makes the path easier for them to get there now, because that's one less ACC opponent that Florida State has to play, and they've lost it already. And if you remember correctly, Florida State ends their ACC slate of games early in November. So
like the
already
week,
getting a loss.
November 2nd.
Yeah, already getting the loss means that's helpful for NC State, and it kind of lets the rest of the ACC, that top Miami, Clemson, NC State, throw in Virginia Tech, I guess. That's good. And I think just to touch on it briefly, because it was oddly enough, the other ACC game, SMU played Nevada.
Yep.
And I tried to watch a little bit of that game. I didn't really get into it. I was trying to be like, hey, it's ACC game. They were playing the other Wolf Pack, which, seeing a Wolf Pack as 2 words, it feels like something's messed up here. But
they had to, because we sued them.
Yeah,
there you go.
Probably copyright.
Yeah, but so SMU did get the win, but I'm looking here at the opening line, the betting line for it. SMU was favored by 27 points, and they beat
touchdown the last minute and a half.
Yeah, they score was 29-24. SMU over Nevada at Nevada.
By the way, it snowed there.
Did it
Yeah.
snow, really?
I saw that.
Yeah, there was
What
a
part of
flurry
Nevada
there.
is it in? What part of
Some
Nevada is it
flurries.
in?
Reno. It's in Reno.
Reno. Okay. So, you guys have any thoughts about that game? I just thought that maybe it looks a little bit unimpressive for SMU.
Yeah. I mean, I really didn't watch any of it, but yeah. I mean, especially when there was not a lot, but there was some talk of SMU. They have an easy ACC schedule.
Yeah.
Could they be a dark horse? Preston Stone, who was supposed to be one of the better QBs, and he's splitting time now.
That was their
his
downfall
first
in that
throw
game.
was an interception.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's
Well,
once they went back to Stone, they played much better. I don't think that either of the quarterbacks got into a really good rhythm. They were beating themselves. It was just an ugly game. I watched like half to 3/4 of it, and then I was like, okay, like I thought honestly it was late, and I was like, okay, SMU is going to lose this game. It's time to go to bed. And then I woke up the next morning, and they somehow pulled it out.
Yeah, I'm looking here. Just a couple of things that to me. I can't tell, but I wonder did it looks like SMU maybe struggled to score.
Mm-hmm. They just beat themselves
till late.
Yeah,
till late in the game.
So it looks like at least in this game, SMU threw the ball a lot. They had 100 yards exactly rushing, but they had over 300 passing yards to Nevada's 150. Time of possession, they had 23, almost 24 minutes compared to Nevada's over 36. So that's a big difference. So maybe that was Nevada's game plan. But anyway, I just thought, that's a big line to only beat them by 5. And granted, it was on the road, but you're right, Greg. They scored 16 points, SMU did, in the fourth quarter to come back to win.
Yep.
So they were down going into the fourth quarter, 24-13?
Yep.
Down 11. Not a good look. I just don't know if they're going to be that good of a team after that performance this season. I know some people thought they had the easiest. We talked about that. They have the easiest schedule. Probably want either them or NC State, and that did not look pretty. So, anyways, we'll move on from that. Unless you guys have any closing thoughts on SMU.
I just think to the point of those two games, I think the ACC is wide open. It'll be interesting to see if someone just grabs it and goes with it, and is that team named NC State? I think Miami, Clemson, State. Apparently, people are still high on Virginia Tech. I mean, freaking Pat McAfee picked them to show up in the playoffs and win in the ACC.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying it can't happen, but I just think there's too many other good teams that are better. The Virginia Tech's thing is they return a lot of players. I think it's like 20-some players, and they have a relatively easy schedule. Like, I don't know, they play Clemson at home, but
still Clemson.
Yeah, I know. But anyways, that's that. So,
Yeah.
As far as like perception of the ACC, I think in year one for SMU, it's like nobody's really gonna like. Yeah, of course people will say, "Oh, look, SMU ACC team stinks," but it's like at the same time, it's like, okay, it's their first year. Like it was clearly gonna be a case of they're either gonna jump right in or they're gonna take some time to adjust, and kind of looks like it's the latter.
But again, who knows? I mean, you always hear that teams make their biggest jump from week 0/1 to 1 to 2. So I think that you'll see probably by week 3 or 4 what these teams really are, and then you'll have a little bit better vision of how the season will break.
Yeah,
right. Well, let's move on to what everybody really wants to talk about, and let's talk about barbecue sauce. Yeah, exactly. Oconee barbecue sauce, and the game this weekend. I mean, this week. Excuse me. Thursday. We are. Was it now? I mean, this time, 3 days from now.
3 days.
We are going to be in the middle of maybe the second quarter.
Yeah, maybe
going into halftime.
Maybe halftime.
Pretty awesome.
And in 24 hours, I will be on my way to Raleigh. So that is exciting.
24 hours? Wow.
We're coming down tomorrow.
Your boss prepared off for all the vacation time you're taking off, Greg?
She's out of the office.
Oh.
I just don't show up. I take the office space approach.
I'm too valuable with all this.
I have people skills.
They got to play. NC State's going to face up against the Fighting Western Carolina Catamounts, which is the same mascot as me and Layton's high school.
Yes, we know this. We had this conversation.
I know. Oh, I wasn't here, so I'm having this conversation all over
made
again.
sure he brought it to our attention.
Yeah, the Catamounts.
That's exciting.
But from Cullowhee, North Carolina, and they are in the Southern Conference, SoCon. And yeah, I was looking this morning. I didn't see a line, and I just checked while we're in the middle of this podcast. I saw they have a line now. NC State is favored by 33 points. And they're thinking the total is going to be around 60 and a half. So that basically tells you that the bettors in Vegas are thinking it's going to be something like a 47-13 kind of score in NC State winning.
I say that at halftime.
I kind of wonder what you think of the line.
No.
Do you think that's do you think Western Carolina scores 13? I don't know, dude. I don't think so. The last matchup, yeah,
touchdown.
Last matchup was on
41-0.
Right. I don't remember that game for some reason, but maybe there's a reason why.
Well, we don't remember much of 2019. That season was horrible.
2019. That's rough.
Yeah,
like
they only won 4 games that year.
Yeah.
Well, I just don't remember it, but they won 41-0 on September 7th, and
that's what I'm saying.
I honestly think it could be a similar score. State's not going to run up the score on them.
No,
like they're going to get to like 30-something, 30-0. They're going to put in, CJ Bailey, and they're going to, try to get like maybe Smothers and Raphael and whoever else, Duke Scott. Maybe give some of the young receivers some burn, like Terrell Anderson, or get Paler in there a little bit as a rookie, or Keenan Jackson, whoever. And but I don't know. I don't even see Western Carolina scoring 13 points if they score 13 points. I don't think it's going to depend. I guess it depends on how it happens. But I'm going to think maybe there's a problem.
So, I mean, you could see like something fluky, a pick six, or something like that. It's maybe a special teams thing. I don't think this defense gives up 13 points. I think it has to be some kind of combination where you turn it over deep in your territory and they capitalize, right? Where they're not going the full length of the field.
Yeah. I'm excited about. What do you think, Michael? What do you think about the matchup?
Yeah, it's Western Carolina. I think they're in the one of the better FCS schools, but still an FCS school,
right?
Yeah, I would be surprised if we gave up more than 10, non-garbage time or special teams, like Greg was saying. I mean, I don't know. It depends on. So offensively, where do you hold stuff back for Tennessee the next week? Do you just kind of go?
Yes.
Do you get many reps as you can for the first string guys to get?
I don't know. You want to get the gelling happening, right?
Yeah.
You want to see some cohesiveness, but I just think the coaches are going to have to just gauge it, right? They're just going to be like, okay, let's see how this is going. If it's clicking in by the second quarter, we'll maybe bring him in just after halftime, get him like a drive, and then we say, all right, you're done.
Because it's like. This game could be 28-0 at the end of the first quarter, but then it's like, okay, your starters have only played one quarter together before going into Tennessee. It's like, how do you judge that? It'll be interesting.
Yeah. Just for reference, Western Carolina in the preseason FCS rankings comes in at number 20.
Yeah.
So they're decent. They're 7-4 ball club. So they'll probably make some noise. What are they? Are they in the Southern Conference?
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, I could see where depending on the score and situation and how happy the coaching staff is with the performance, you could see the ones come out and then take a series or two just to get the feel coming out of halftime and then call it a night. I can see a scenario where if the score is very lopsided at that point, you would just get your guys out of there. You don't want anything silly to happen, fluky. Injury wise, and that's the biggest key is coming out of this game with a W and injury free.
Yep. Some kids, I guess with this game, because I mean I don't see any reason why State shouldn't lose this or shouldn't win this game. Excuse me, but and guys in the chat, we'll get to your questions and your comments here. Josh, we see you. We'll get to that in a second, but I'm curious, what do you watch for in this kind of game? I mean, what are you looking for? Because it should be a blowout. And it should be convincing. So when you're playing at FBS, when you're one of the top teams projected to be in your conference, a Power 4 conference, which I hate saying Power 4.
It's so weird, isn't it?
Versus an FCS opponent, what are you looking for? And Michael, I'll start with you. What are you looking for?
Yeah, I think you just want to see the offense just work pretty much from the first snap. You want it to be like, I remember last year against UConn, our first drive against UConn was beautiful. And it was like, okay, now we got a new offense. And then obviously that didn't continue even towards the end of that game and then the rest of the season. But yeah, I think you want to see an offense that's efficient, and you want to see some guys other than KC make some plays.
Yep.
Defensively, I think a lot of the eyes are going to be on the linebackers and just see how they play initially, because that's a whole new group.
Yeah, I agree. I totally agree. Craig, what about you?
Yeah, I feel like the same thing. Just, go out and set the tone early and often, impart your will on your opponent, make them quit. I'm really curious to see how the running game looks. That's probably my big thing is, an area where we've struggled over the last couple of years. Has the offensive line come together? And then, what does Jordan Waters look like in the red and white? And then on the defensive side, I think it's the same thing as Michael said, just a linebacker play. Do you go out and play good solid defense, assignment driven? Because that was one of the things that, just looking at some of the film from the Florida State game, and you mentioned it earlier too, Michael, the linebackers in the line just looked like they didn't know what the hell was going on. And I don't know if that was just because Georgia Tech was doing stuff to just disrupt their play calling on the defensive side of the ball or what it was. So I just think you just want to go out and not do anything that's going to beat yourself or put yourself in bad situations. You want to keep, especially on the offensive side of the ball, keep yourself in manageable situations, play good situational football. And I think, you'll come out and be just fine.
Yeah, for me, it's just familiarize myself with so many new faces and
the numbers and names,
players,
right?
Right. I mean, I know we're going to win, but I just want to kind of like sit back and just take in I don't expect Anai to be creative here. He doesn't need to be. So I'm not really looking for that. I just want to familiarize myself with every player's game, so to speak. Like this, the cliche comment, I'm sorry I wasn't familiar with your game. Like you mentioned, like running back, you've got Waters, you've got Duke Scott, and you got Smothers. Like those three guys, we saw a little bit of each of those. Well, he's not new. That's all I'm saying.
Oh,
You're
gotcha.
right. Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I didn't know
McCall.
that.
I mean, and Bailey.
Yeah,
I think you will see Bailey. Seeing him, I haven't really ever paid attention much to Coastal Carolina, but being able to see firsthand, make my own opinions and assumptions of what I see. Oh yeah, he really is accurate, but not a lot of arm strength as much as some other guys. Like I kind of want to see that.
I'm curious to see what kind of relationship does he have, like a favorite target, like does he click with someone in particular, like a KC or a Noah Rogers or Justin Jolie? Like, does he have a dude that he knows that on third and 7, that he needs to move the chains? Who is he going to?
Yeah, I think the two guys receiver wise, and I'm catching myself on this one of the two, the receiver comment. I'm really looking at Noah Rogers and Justin Jolie here because we know we get from KC.
Yep.
And I think because I know Rogers and Jolie are starting. Those are two new receivers I'm going to be watching to see what they do. And I think you want that chemistry being built in the middle of a live game with those guys. I'll be really watching that. And I know Josh mentioned it, getting Wesley Grimes. He wanted stat predictions. But he's the guy, honestly, of the whole depth chart that's like, dang it, I wish they could find a way to get this guy as a starter on the field. I think he's going to be really good. But maybe there's a reason why he's not a starter. Maybe it's because Noah's just that good. But that's what I'm looking for. I know it's going to be a win for State. I just don't know. I just want to get familiar with that. You mentioned defense. I want to see what Sean Brown looks like at the weak side linebacker. And I realized Caden Fordham and Devon Betty are going to be at linebacker. And we know those guys, but even Fordham, not totally familiar with him. What does he look like now as a starter in his new role? So seeing some new guys. Is Kaufman a starter? I think he is too, right?
I think
Kaufman,
he's
because he's not a captain, but
No,
I think I saw him as a starter. I thought it was interesting, seeing Sisse even as a starter now. Like he is the guy at the corner spot. I know there was a war between him and Corey Coley. So we'll see both of those guys. Just getting familiarizing myself with that. I don't expect a whole lot happening. And yeah, Justin made a comment. He, getting to see Betty, his speed worries him some. Connor said, really no stupid penalties. That's a really good call out because this is the kind of game where there should be no reason to get like false starts. Like you're at home, against Carolina, just play sound football. There's no really probably need for holding kind of calls either. I'm Josh made a comment. I feel like you're looking for players who know where they're supposed to do, where they're supposed to go. I think what they're supposed to do, get some rhythm on offense and have the defense get a feel for each other and communicate. And Adam said, I think there's an argument to showing too much on film, shows so many formations and motions that Tennessee can't spend a ton of time on any one thing, then come out with a concise game plan. I just don't think you're going to see a whole lot. There's no need to. I really think you're going to see a lot of Jordan Waters personally, but they're going to need to get that chemistry passing. So I'll kind of stop rambling there.
Yeah, I think the other thing you want to look at is these new faces that you have in the program, especially these freshmen. How do they look when the lights come on for game action? It's one thing to practice and be very good at practice, but are you going to show up on game day? That's really always the thing that, is it going to be too fast for these guys?
Yeah, it's confidence building to me. Like, hey, let's say we get into a third and long situation because of a penalty or something, or maybe they get a sack for no reason. Like, okay, I want to see us convert this third down, and who do they go to here in the situation? What's the play call? Or hey, we're running the ball and it is third and long, or we are short goal line. Which running back are they going to? Are they going to go to Waters? Are they going to go to Raphael? Are they going to go to Smothers? Are they going to go to Scott? So I think that's be fun. What situation do we see Jolie and Vereen on the field at the same time? Like that's going to be fun.
Well, you got the blocking aspect of that too. I mean, you have a Dante Daniels, you have a Reed Johnson, you have who's the guy that they gave
McCabe.
McCabe. Yeah, you have all those guys. Like,
yeah, that's what I was gonna bring up some of those. The depth chart we saw. McCabe, we were thinking he could probably maybe start at guard, and looks like he's listed as a tight end. And I think you're definitely going to see some big heavy run packages.
You're going to see Isaiah Shirley on both sides of the ball. They've said that where he'll get reps both at blocking tight end or just tight end in general. I don't know if they're going to necessarily throw the ball to him, and then also on the DN side of the ball. So you have Jordan Poole back at fullback again.
He's not on the depth chart, which I thought was kind of interesting. I mean, maybe they
that's situational. They don't normally run a 2-back set, so that's probably why you don't see it on the depth chart.
Yeah, there's no they don't put a fullback on the depth chart.
Yep. So the other part of the game that we haven't really talked about is special teams, and so I think that's probably maybe one of the more interesting things on this depth chart, right? And I'm talking specifically at the returners. So a lot of people have a lot of opinions based upon the speed we're bringing in. We brought in Hollywood Smothers, we brought in Jonathan Taylor, but Jalen Coit, I mean, he's done nothing to lose the position. He was one of the best punt returners in the ACC last year.
Yep.
And clearly that's how the staff has probably felt about it. And maybe he's still the starter punt returner. So what do you guys think about that?
Yeah, I still think you're going to see KC back there at some point.
There is an or next to the name.
Yeah. And I think it's because they brought in so much talent on the offensive side of the ball. They just want to find touches for KC. I don't think that you're going to see him get 15 to 20 touches a game like he was getting last year. Again, I think that you have more proficient skill players on this roster. So I think it's just a matter of situational where, if they need something, maybe you see him back there, if they need a spark.
Right. Yeah. I could see. Yeah. In a close game, we put KC back there and see if he can make something happen. But yeah, I mean, I don't think Coit dropped the ball last year. So, and punt return, it's a little less explosive than kick return. Kick return, I think you usually have more opportunities for bigger plays. Punt return, just get the ball back, secure it, and go on.
I've heard a comment that part of the reason they want KC back there is because his ability to accelerate and get to top speed so quickly.
His ability to make people miss too, I think, right? Like he's very shifty.
Slippery. Yeah.
And that's big on the returns when the defense is flying down the field because they want to get down as fast as possible to cover you. It's easy to make guys miss like that.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And so the other returner position is a kick returner. So we have Hollywood Smothers locked in as the starter. There is no or next to his name. But what I thought was interesting is who is the guy behind him? It's Noah Rogers. So Greg, what are your thoughts about that? Hollywood Smothers or Dalen Smothers being the kick returner for State?
Again, you want to find some of your you want to find some of again. You just want to find some of your best players ways to get the ball in their hand.
Speed, man.
Yeah, speed. I mean, you there's a reason why you see in college a lot of your starters on special teams. Those are typically your best athletes, and so you want to give them the opportunity to make plays, especially when you are on the receiving side of the ball. I wouldn't be shocked if we run at least one back this year, just because of all the speed.
I think we do. I think we do 2 or 3 honestly this year.
Yeah. I was being more conservative, but I could definitely see 2. But then it becomes, if you get 1 or 2, are they going to kick away from you at that point?
Right.
They know the potential damage. I'm most curious about place kicker. You've had guys the last 5-6 years with Dunn and Narveson who have NFL talent. That's a high bar that's been set at that position. What are you bringing in? Because we really haven't seen anything, right? We don't know much.
No.
Kanoa Vincent is the place kicker for us this year, at least the starter.
Yeah. So it's going to be interesting. Last year we had Narveson. We didn't know what we were getting with him, though. He was a guy that was a finalist, I think, for the Lou Groza. Yeah.
Yep.
By the way, did you see those 2 kicks he had in the preseason?
So good.
59-yarder or something like that.
Yeah, he was 2 for 3 yesterday. He's pushing Nick Folk.
He might have a case for a start. Somebody's gonna pick him up.
Somebody has to. Yeah. The word on the street is if he doesn't get picked up or stay with the Titans, that the Commanders may end up getting him because they need a kicker in the worst kind of way. Some things that I read, but so you kind of knew what you had, right? Like you saw statistics. This guy is like, I don't know.
Yeah, we don't know. I think he had a good spring game. I don't think he missed anything in the spring games.
Just new. That's all.
Yep.
Personally, go ahead, Michael. Sorry.
I was just gonna say all reports are he's solid, but kicking is as much a mental game as it is physical. So you never know until you get in live game action on those.
Bro, how good was FSU's kicker on Saturday? I mean, he single-handedly kept him in the game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
he had a 59-yarder.
You think Tampa Bay's going to draft him in the second round again?
Yeah, of course, man. We love taking those FSU kickers early and often.
What was that guy's name?
Aguayo.
Yeah. Whatever.
Second round pick. We're getting a kicker.
That's.
Yeah, was it second round?
Greg is a Tampa Bay Buccaneers fan, so
whatever.
Is that much better?
How many Super Bowls does the Panthers have?
Hey, whoa! I'm not even talking about that. I'm just saying, bro,
you were just dogging my boys
and the second round. I'm not bringing the Panthers into this.
Greg is. That's the point.
Yeah,
that's how I get the pressure.
Oconee barbecue sauce. How about that?
Have we told you about the wingy sauce yet? Because it's amazing. I love some wings.
No, but no.
I'm so excited about chicken wings this week.
I will say,
I'm cooking 20 pounds of chicken wings on Thursday.
Oh my god, 20 pounds!
Hey, everybody in the chat, go to Greg's tailgate. But
not my tailgate, Savage Wolves.
I'm just personal
facilitator.
But you're the expert they brought in, Greg. So matters.
Sure.
But on a personal, Colin Smith is a good buddy of my brother's, so kind of pulling for Colin a little bit. I know he is the kickoff man.
Specialist.
He has been last year. Was he the kickoff man 2 years ago?
I think so. I think
yeah,
maybe his
third
yeah,
year, maybe. So
Dunn didn't do kickoff, and that's a good point because we've seen him kick a little bit, and he's at least you got a solid backup if need be in Colin Smith.
Yeah. Yep. So I think that is really about it on that game. I just think it's gonna be it's gonna be fun seeing State play football for a real game this time. It's gonna be really fun.
What's the weather looking like?
Too hot.
I saw it might rain. Is what
95 degrees during tailgate.
Oh, not even a feels like actual 95.
The feel like is like 102.
You're gonna be that chicken wing that's gonna be cooking, Greg. Is what it's gonna be.
I'm gonna be sizzling.
Let me look here. Let's look at Thursday night. We've got a high of 97, and it goes.
Oh,
how about that?
Rain might cool it off.
How about that?
Rain might cool it off a little bit.
It says it's going to rain around maybe 8 o'clock. So, game time, it'll be raining a little bit. And hopefully that kind of go away. Or maybe it comes through earlier, Greg. But it's,
we definitely don't want it to be a messy game and then give the opportunity for an upset. Those things just become weird. I'm not saying that we're going to get a monsoon like we had for Notre Dame. But, if you get some weird wet weather, it definitely can wreak havoc.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because that's the great equalizer is crappy weather.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's talk about some other matches we got in the ACC this weekend. Unless you guys got something else you want to talk about, because that's what I'm on right now.
Is Boston College got to give Florida State another loss? Ugh.
I don't know. Let's go day by day. So the other team, let's look at some games they're playing again on Thursday night. The other game in the ACC that I see, actually, is UNC at Minnesota at 8 o'clock Thursday night. UNC is actually favored by 2 points.
How can you even give them it's in Carolina?
It's at Minnesota.
At Minnesota. Wow. Road
favorites.
Yeah.
I saw the quarterback is.
Yeah, I know. That's crazy.
Have they released a depth chart yet? Have they released a depth chart?
No, he said they're not going to do any of that because Minnesota didn't release a depth chart, so they're not releasing a depth chart.
I did see Minnesota.
I don't blame him for that.
Two best. I think they're number one running back, and they're at least one of their better wide receivers got hurt in fall camp and aren't going to play.
UNC's?
So. No, Minnesota's, which is why that UNC is the favorite now because Minnesota's down two of their best players, and they weren't expected to be very good this year anyway. So,
of course.
Well, I just think it's going to be – I think they're going to be really interesting to watch, actually. I'm going to be like, okay, you brought the guy back. I can't remember his name, but you brought that one guy back. Jacoby Criswell, yeah.
But I don't think
what's going to happen here is they're going to be – what's the other the other guy they brought in from Texas A&M?
Max Johnson.
Because
they brought
I think it's going to be really interesting to see them because the only guy I know they got, they're going to ride Omarion Hampton.
Yeah, that's Brad Johnson's. That's Brad Johnson's kid. If you guys remember Brad Johnson, he was a Buccaneer quarterback that won a Super Bowl. Yeah, won a Super Bowl.
Buccaneers reference.
Yeah. You started it.
No, that's going to be interesting. I don't know what to think there. I don't think Max Johnson.
It'll be interesting to watch. And
but on the road, hopefully. Yeah. On the road at Minnesota is not going to.
This is Max Johnson's third school, so
it worked out so well. The other two wasn't it went to right. So,
well, he did actually have a good win when he was with LSU.
It's just UNC.
I know. Moving on to the next game.
All right, so the other game I missed this one. The other game on Thursday night, Wake Forest at home against A&T, North Carolina A&T. Should be a win. I don't see a betting on
upset.
Should be.
A&T's going to pull that upset.
You talk about perception. I bet you that would get some attention if A&T beat Wake Forest.
That would be bad.
I think if State would have made Dave Clawson reconsider his life choices, I think a loss against A&T might do the trick.
Clawson was going with the beard look. It seems to be the new thing. He had the beard the other day.
You did change something up.
Something.
Yeah. All right. So Friday night we've got two games actually. Duke versus Elon at Duke. Should be a W, but that's the fighting Matt McKay's because Matt McKay went to Elon. And that's at 7:30. And let's see, that's I don't know what that's an ACC network game actually. And then at 10:30, new ACC matchup team. So we got TCU, Texas Christian versus Stanford. That's a game that's going to be. I think the two team kind of matchups will be kind of interesting, fun to watch.
No,
you've got. I mean, I think it would be like. I mean,
Stanford's going to get dogged.
Well, yeah, TCU is favored at 9.5. I agree, but it's gonna be to me. If I was staying at home Friday night late, I'm like TCU Stanford. Yeah, it's a matchup. It's not. It could be worse opponents.
Pac-12 after ACC after dark.
ACC after dark.
Yeah.
Yeah.
ESPN game.
So he's talking about a 10:30 game. Just made me yawn.
Right.
Ugh. All right, let's go to Saturday. Let's go to the main game. So, Clemson versus Georgia. Is that at Georgia?
No, it's in Atlanta. It's in Atlanta. Which
might as well be Georgia. Okay.
It's actually not far from either school, though. I mean,
I know. I'm just saying.
It's about the same.
So Georgia's the number 1 seed. Clemson's the 14 seed. So let me talk about that. So let's just talk about that first. Clemson being the 14 seed.
Yeah.
We buying it or we selling it?
No, I think that's too hard for them.
Nationally ranked 14.
Yeah, I think it's too hard. I do have a question once you're done with this, because this is a question that I asked Eric McLean on the podcast. So when we're done,
go for it. Go for it.
Yeah. Okay. So we both Clemson and State have high-profile SEC matchups, and then they play each other in Week 4. And we've kind of had our version of the conversation about this. What game is more important to you? Is it the Tennessee game or the Clemson game? And so,
like as the ACC
Clemson game
for the ACC.
No, just from the perspective for the ACC, like if you're a fan of your school, which game is more important to you? So what are you? Go ahead.
Oh wait, I'm confused. If we're as not a state fan, because obviously as a state fan, it's going to be a state game. But as a general ACC fan,
So what I'm saying, is if you're a state fan, what game is more important, Tennessee or Clemson? So then I asked Eric, is it more important for Georgia or NC State?
Okay. I was thinking,
yeah, it's okay. I probably didn't
is Georgia's game. Is it more important
as a Clemson
Georgia?
fan? If you're a Clemson fan, as Eric is, because he graduated from Clemson.
It should be State. Who else? Clemson.
It should be State, but I see what you're saying. It should be State for Clemson, but I think they think they're still a national title contender.
When State's 3-0 going into Death Valley, it'll be State. I'm just going to say no, but.
So what game are you? So what is your answer? If you were a Clemson fan, Michael, which game would you say is more important, the State game or the Georgia game?
I would say the Georgia game, because as a Clemson fan, I still think we are a national title contender, and Cade Klubnik will win the Heisman.
As long as you're delusional.
Making what would you be your answer as a Clemson fan?
I'm trying to look to see who they're playing. If we're just isolating to Georgia and NC State, I think this year is tough because I think people think State's going to be a ACC title contending team this season. I still, honestly, I think generally speaking, I think Clemson fans hate NC State. I think they hate Dave Dorn. And after all the stuff with ETN knocking him out in that one game,
laptop gate,
laptop.
I think they hate Dorn, and I think it's kind of funny. But I think they'll probably pick Georgia because it's Georgia, right? It's the national game. It's the same thing State fans are going through. Like, it's Tennessee. They're the cool kid in the room right now. And but if they were a sound thinking ACC team, you saw what Florida State beating LSU did last year, 2 years ago. It did nothing for them. So last year. So
true.
So you want to know what Eric said?
Yeah.
Tune into the podcast in 2 days.
Oh my gosh!
Wow! You just confused us all for that tease.
I won't tell you where in the conversation it happened, so you have to watch.
He probably said Appalachian State, who is the game in between both of those.
That's
right?
True.
Yeah, because Appalachian State could come to Clemson and win, and it would be Michigan all over again.
I will say that it was a very fun conversation with Eric. and that people should definitely tune into the episodes this week. I don't know what days we're releasing them. I'm guessing probably tomorrow and Wednesday.
Yeah.
Maybe one on
Tomorrow,
Thursday.
Thursday.
I don't know why you would release it on Thursday,
Don't know.
Leighton, because everybody's gonna be so focused on our game.
No, I don't think it'll be Thursday.
Yeah, there's nothing.
Probably.
All right. Well, let me just put a bow
Yeah,
on this
keep
game.
going.
It's a
I just thought that was a
noon
fun
game.
I thought that was a fun question, though.
Yep, noon game. It
Make
is
it
going
fun.
to. Is that the is that game day by
Get some sauce.
chance? It's not game day, is it?
No, game day is going to Texas A&M Notre Dame.
Oh,
Makes
that
sense.
makes sense. Clemson, Georgia. Georgia is favored by 2 touchdowns. That's
Yeah.
a
No
lot.
respect.
That's about-
No respect
I
on
think
that
that's
name.
about right.
And they're thinking it's a 49 the total. So they're thinking like
That's a lot of points for those good defenses, though.
Is it like they're thinking like what?
30
the number here.
30 to
31 to like I don't know,
31-18.
something like that. Yeah.
31-18.
32-17.
Some
That'd be a
weird.
good game score, but it would 2 touchdowns favors a lot.
Mhm.
Anyways,
I mean,
we'll move on. It's a good
Clemson's
time.
supposed to have a good defense, so we'll see.
I honestly, I want Clemson to win, but I really would love Georgia just to expose them. And because
Yeah, and then they
You
can
know.
take
Yeah,
it
I
out
don't
in
know.
Appalachian State before they play us.
Yeah.
Would you rather Clemson as a state
Yeah.
game? Do you want Clemson to win or lose?
No, you want them to
I
lose.
think
Go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say I think I want them to win.
No,
I kinda do
because
too.
I want to play Clemson during the day and not at night.
Oh,
That's a
that's
good point.
okay. That's a fair point. But I get what you're saying, Michael. And that's kind of thought is I want them to get the big win in their mind
Yeah.
out of the way.
Yeah.
We're gonna have
They
to beat
got
them
it?
anyways, so they
Oh
might
yeah,
as well
just NC
be.
State, and then they lose. That's why. Yeah. So
But you could see a scenario where State could be on game day 2 times in the first 4 weeks.
Yeah, could be.
So do you think? Okay, now I'll put it that way. Do you think game day, even though it's a Fox cover game, goes to Texas, Michigan, week 2?
No.
So then the next best game is NC State, Tennessee.
Yeah.
Well,
They already
especially if
said
you
that.
saw- Yeah, go ahead.
It's a 7:30 ABC game, and it's what's his face?
It's
Chris Fowler,
ABC.
Reese Davis
on the call. Yeah,
Reese,
I think
Reese,
it's
Reese and Kirk.
Oh, they already said that.
Yeah.
Well, that's game day. I don't worry
Yeah,
about it.
yeah.
But
But imagine like what's the best? I mean, I know we're getting ahead of ourselves, but in week 4, what would be the best matchup?
yeah. I don't know. I have to look, but if
I
both
think I did see it. I
Clemson-
think it's Alabama.
if
game.
both Clemson and State at that point will be 3-0 with Clemson a win over Georgia and Tennessee and a State a win over Tennessee, we'd both be top 10. Like it'd have to be at that point, I would
I'm
think.
looking it up, Greg. I'm looking it
I
up
got
right
it.
now. God, golly, Greg's quicker.
That maybe Utah, Oklahoma State.
No,
No.
That's the next best game because Tennessee would have a loss at that point.
Yeah.
So they wouldn't
NC
be as
State,
ranked high.
Clemson.
That's game day, bro. That's
It might
game
be
day.
Tennessee, Oklahoma. Tennessee, Oklahoma.
Bro.
That-
but
that-
we're
that'd be the
saying-
other one.
but I'm
we're
saying if
saying
you-
State would have beat Tennessee. At
they're
that
not
point.
undefeated.
Oh, that's true. No, Michigan, USC, maybe. That's another game that's there. The Trojans.
That's probably Fox again. That's probably
Yeah.
Fox. It's a Big Ten game.
okay.
Yeah. Though
Just looking,
NBC is
just
doing
looking.
some Big Ten games this year too, so who knows? I don't know what package they have.
don't know.
I got it. Southern Miss and Jacksonville State. There you go.
Oh,
Somebody
of
mute
course.
that guy's mic.
Florida and Mississippi State. Let's do this.
All right, moving on.
Oh.
What else do you
ECU
have?
and Liberty,
What else do you have in
that's the
week
game.
1? What else do you have?
What
Week
other-
one?
Virginia
We're
We're getting ahead of
Tech,
ourselves anyway. You gotta
Virginia
go win
Tech,
ball games.
Vanderbilt at Vanderbilt,
Gosh,
which I
That'll
think is
be
still playing at a
interesting.
high school.
Vanderbilt has a
They're playing at
new
high
beer
school?
out. I saw that today.
It's not.
Common
I don't think it's a
Courts.
high school. I think their stadium's still under construction. but-
No, they're playing. They're back. They're playing in their stadium.
Well, Virginia Tech is favored by 2 touchdowns as well. So there you
Mhm.
go. Louisville versus Austin P.
Austin P.
Bro,
Austin
did you guys see what
PA?
happened to their coach?
Yeah.
One of their coaches?
Who's
Austin
Louisville?
P.
Yeah, Austin
Louisville.
Austin Pay. You
That's
gonna play
upsetting.
Austin Pay?
P. He just got arrested for human/sex trafficking.
What?
Oh,
Yeah, yeah,
Well, he deserves to go to jail then.
That's tough.
Is it? I mean,
If he's
it's
guilty.
innocent proven guilty, right? But
yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
wow. Okay, let's move on from that. That's crazy.
No, I know, but it was just, it's just wild.
Way to bring the mood down.
Let's the show, guys. It's a great note to end on.
That's just wild. That's all I'm saying.
It is wild,
Who
Greg.
else?
Thanks for bringing it up.
I'm trying to stay plugged
okay.
in with college football. That's
All
not
right,
the information I
Greg,
wanted.
stop talking. Pittsburgh at home against Kent State. Pittsburgh is a 24.5 point favorite.
Yep, that should be easy.
Pretty lopsided schedule there. Unrelated to ACC, Penn State plays West Virginia. That could be pretty.
That'll be a good one. I think West Virginia has a real chance in the Big 12.
Yep. Let me just kind of scroll.
They're getting some early favorites. Love for championship.
Syracuse at home versus Ohio. Not Ohio State, Ohio. So Syracuse is a 17.5 point favorite. I think that's a game that's the one game I'm going to for State. Is going to play Syracuse this year. I'll be at that game. But
Syracuse is an interesting team.
A lot of transfer portal additions. So that's why I kind of think, didn't Kyle McCord go to Syracuse?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Ohio State, who was going to be the quarterback for Noah Rogers. And there's that. Miami versus Florida. Miami, Florida versus Florida.
Sneaky good game.
Yeah, Miami is playing at Florida, and Miami is a 2.5 point favorite. I think people think Florida's going to suck. Maybe
I don't know so much they're going to suck. They just have like the toughest schedule in the nation.
Yeah, they play like at 10.
Top 25 their first week of any game, they're going to be the healthiest they've been.
Yeah.
And they're already underdog at home. I mean, that's.
Yeah. Yeah, you might not have Florida's coach may not make it to the end of the year.
Yeah,
he may not. And Billy Napier, I thought was going to be a pretty good hire.
I did too. Yeah.
All right, we're going to keep moving on. Let's see here.
What's the Sunday game? I think isn't there an ACC team
on
Sunday?
There might be, but I got another one here. I see.
I know we have 17 teams now to talk about.
Yeah, I know.
Virginia at home against Richmond, so that's going to be a really close local game for those.
Richmond hangs 50 on them.
Yeah. Virginia's favored by 18.5.
That's a school that they need to get it figured out. Tony Elliott, I know he's been to the ringer.
Is he on the hot seat? I
mean, at some point, look, this.
If it's so bad, I mean,
like I know he's had a lot to deal with, but at some point, football on the field production has to mean something.
I think if they can, improve on their win total from last year, I think he'll, as long as he's showing improvement.
Yep.
I mean, I think they got a good quarterback. I think both their quarterbacks are pretty good, to be honest with you. And they went with
Landria.
Yeah, he played well against us last year.
Yep. All right. So another game, 8:00 Saturday, Georgia Tech versus Georgia State. The only thing that can make this game more interesting is if Georgia showed up. So Georgia Tech is a 21.5 point favorite, 3 touchdowns. That seems a little high because if I'm not mistaken, Georgia State's not a bad team.
Yeah. Are you going to have a letdown?
I'm just basing off of stereotypes of Georgia State. Yep.
Yeah.
SMU versus Houston Christian. No idea what they're like. And that's
got to be an FCS team.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the Saturday games. Sunday, Greg, there is one game in college football on Sunday.
Yeah, I think it's LSU, isn't it?
LSU USC.
Yeah,
top 25 matchup.
Yeah, that's gonna be fun.
And then on Monday, so we will be in the middle of this game during our live stream next week.
Well, we may not do a live stream on Monday because it's a holiday, so we'll have to.
Labor Day. That's fair.
Yeah.
Well, it's Boston College, Florida State. So
that is a lot more interesting now that Florida State has lost.
Florida State is already a 17-point favorite. Keep that in mind. So
and what were they? They were like that many against Georgia Tech.
They were 10.5 Georgia Tech.
Was it 10.5? Okay.
Before they lost, they were like a 21-point favorite against Boston College. So it's already come down some because of that loss. So
it came down 4 points. Wow.
And they had trouble with Haynes King running around back there. They're going to have trouble with Castellanos. I mean, he's the best running quarterback, I think, in the ACC.
So I'm going to be just.
They almost lost to him last year.
Right. You want you want the ACC teams to all get their wins, but in particular, you want teams like Clemson, UNC, which as a State fan, you're not pulling for UNC.
Think about this. Think about this. If Boston College somehow pulls an upset on Monday, Florida State's done.
Yeah, done. ACC.
Wouldn't that be sweet? Wouldn't that be sweet? Because it's like, well, that's one less team to worry about. I mean,
I don't think you're getting in with 2 losses.
No. Not with those losses. If it was like, they lost the Clemson game or Miami game, but not to Georgia Tech and Boston College.
I mean, you haven't even played quote unquote the hardest part of your schedule for the ACC
Yeah.
conference.
Yeah. Stanford. I mean, if Stanford could somehow beat TCU, that'd be great. And
Does
that'd be good for
DJU have a short leash?
He has
they
a
get down in
short passing tree. I can tell you that because he only
Yes.
throws like max
7
21
yards, 8 yards.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't. Do they have? I assume they have a good backup because they're Florida State. But
I mean, people were calling for dudes like. But by the way, we didn't even talk about that aspect of Florida State. Their fans were losing it, and then everybody was just piling on FSU because of all the drama from
Big
the
time.
offseason.
Yeah, it's very funny.
I mean, as a State fan, I do not want UNC to lose. I don't care how it's done. I don't care if they play Yugoslavia. I want them to lose. But it's they need to having like AC does need to get some perception wins here. And so I am going to pull for Clemson against Georgia. Because honestly, if State could then beat Clemson, it's that much better for State. So I don't know, guys. I think that's about it. I know we're a little over an hour now. So you guys have any closing comments for the game? Wait, hold on.
One question.
Michael, go with you. Go for it.
From Thomas. What uniforms?
Classic. It's gonna be classic.
Yeah, red
white,
helmets.
red, white, white,
Yeah.
red, white.
White, red, right? Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's gonna be white helmets, red jerseys, white pants.
Yeah.
That's what it should be. And it's gonna be I don't know if there's anything fancy about that. Man, they're not gonna come out anything super. I guess it's a night game, but it's the game opener. It's Western Carolina. So
men's and women's soccer got wins over the weekend.
Yeah.
So women's got a desperately
High Point.
needed win.
Men's played High Point. Yep.
Well, they played High Point in the first game, and then they won yesterday over Florida Gulf Coast. Both kind of in dramatic fashion in the last minute or two. Yeah, Dunk City. I think volleyball had a game or maybe an exhibition over the weekend. Just trying to think of everybody that's kind of getting back to.
Yeah, we got all sports starting up now.
Yeah,
school started, classes started.
Yeah. So we'll see. I know the Pac tennis, the women's side, have like four people playing in the U.S. Open, which is a record. 3 or 4. I can't remember what number that was. So nice seeing Pac pros there, and then some of the guys from the baseball team. Alec Makarevich is crushing it right now with the Cannonballers. He's got a 13-game hitting streak. Yeah.
Ballers.
Yeah, so the Pac-9 alumni, Terrell Tatum stole home yesterday for a game winner for Birmingham. Ooh. So yeah, got lots of people doing great things. Thank you, Michelle. It was an exhibition. I knew they were playing last Saturday. I couldn't remember if it was a real game or not, but yeah, man,
really good stuff. So by the way, Michael, I just noticed you got the Why Not Both thing behind you now, man. That's pretty.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, we're starting. I got a whole collage and got pictures to put up. Been
That's
2 years.
Sweet. Is that the technician or what article is that?
Yeah. It's a copy of it.
Yeah, if someone would have watched,
I'm a little jealous there. It's cool.
Yeah, if someone would have watched our predictions for the preseason awards, they'd already known that. But whatever. I know you were busy working.
Greg. Most people have to work for a living. We don't get to just go and have fun and travel everywhere and grow beards.
All right. Well, everybody, thanks for tuning in.
Grow beards.
Grow beards, yeah. Just because you guys show off about your beards and I don't have one, that's not really nice. Is all I got. But no, guys. Seriously, we really thank you guys for joining in tonight. And Thomas, Michelle, Rob, Adam, everybody who joined in on the call.
Don't forget,
you're watching. Whether you're watching this like a week or two later, hopefully it's in only a day or two. Be sure and go and get your Oconee Gold barbecue sauce. I think the word is Leighton said by either Tuffy Talk is the discount code. By tomorrow night at 7 p.m., you can use that code and get 15% off. And send a copy of that receipt. You can DM us on our Tuffy Talk account. And if you do that, as Greg said, we're giving away tickets to the Western Carolina game.
2 tickets and a parking pass.
And a parking pass. And it's sold out. So, go buy barbecue sauce. Go get a discount on some really sweet new barbecue sauce.
Or
have
spicy.
A chance to win some football tickets. Yeah, and a parking pass. I mean, that sounds like a pretty no-brainer deal to me. So, Oconee Gold barbecue sauce. Really excited about it. But thank you guys so much for tuning in. Game week's here. It's been a long off season, but football is back, baby. So we looking forward to seeing y'all at the game Thursday night. And as always, go Pack.
Go Pack. Beat Western Carolina.